Love is patient. Love is kind. Love endures all things, is not envious or boastful, arrogant or rude. Those are words many of us have heard from Paul's letter to the Corinthians, often at a wedding. We think of that romantic love and how amazing it is, and certainly those are hope-filled words on such a day when we celebrate two coming together in marriage. But when we know that Paul, who writes that letter to the church in a place called Corinth, he is not writing to a couple in love. He's not even talking to the die-hard sports fan that loves their Reds this baseball season time of year, or that love in our favorite meal or favorite summertime tradition. Paul is not writing to a community caught up in those sentimental, romantic feelings of love, although Scripture does talk about the different types of love elsewhere. When Paul is writing to the church in Corinth, he's writing to a church that is in conflict with itself, has different opinions on how to be the church next. They're still at that stage where church is learning to walk, and so they're figuring things out. They have a disagreement with the people who say, hey, here's how we've always done it, and people saying, but here's this Jesus who we are following because he's resurrected. Let's do it a new way. So when Paul is writing to them about love, it is not about the love you have for a tradition or a favorite restaurant, but is that Christ-centered love, where Jesus, in one of the last conversations he had with his disciples, says that, have heart, people will know that you are my disciples and that you have love for one another. Not simply that you have that romantic love, that you're buying roses, or even that you're just being kind, but it's that Christ-type love. And we know Jesus ultimately gave up his life in love for all of us. Well, I'm not going to ask you to give up your life in this summertime or pretty much most times, although some might have to do that. But what does it mean to be fruitful in how we love one another when we think of the love being not maybe how we feel romantically about someone or something, but what does it look like when we bear that fruit? And remember, fruit isn't any good if it's left on a tree, but the fruit of love, of Christ-type love, who is always giving of himself for the benefit of someone else, someone in need, someone who needed healing, someone who needed reconciled and reconnected to their community so they can be recharged, so they can be whole again. Right? Isn't that part of what happens in these summer months when we're rested? We kind of feel whole. We feel like ourselves again, and we have to get away from it all. And so to get away from it all this week, let us think about Christ's love for us and how we might bear that fruit, to take that love off the branches and to share it with those around us, how we might give of ourselves, maybe give of our patience, maybe give of our time, maybe giving up saying something and just listening, but how might we, in Jesus' way of love, give that love in our actions and what we say this week as we bear fruit, the fruit that will last.